Welcome to Random Facts. You picked it up before you even realized you were doing it? Maybe you were sitting in a waiting room. Maybe dinner was cooking on the stove. Maybe you were lying in bed, minutes away from sleep. And then, without deciding to, your hand moved. Your thumb unlocked the screen. You scrolled for a few seconds, found nothing new, and put it down. And 30 seconds later, you picked it up again. You did not choose that. Not really. Something else did. And the answer to what that something is goes back much further than Silicon Valley. It goes back further than radio, further than newspapers, further than language itself. It goes back to the version of you that was still living in the dirt, scanning the horizon, listening for the snap of a branch in the dark. Your brain was not built for the 21st century. It was built for a world that no longer exists. And your phone is exploiting every single one of its oldest instincts. Here is what is actually happening every time you reach for that screen. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, surviving meant staying informed. Not informed in the way you think of it now. Not news headlines or trending topics. Informed about the immediate environment. Who was nearby? What was moving in the grass? Whether the group was still together. Whether something had changed since you last looked. The humans who stopped paying attention died. The ones who kept scanning, who could not help but monitor for new information, who felt a pull toward any change or movement in their surroundings, they lived, they reproduced, and they passed that pull down to you. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz spent decades studying dopamine, the brain's signaling molecule most associated with reward. What his research revealed was not what most people expect. Dopamine does not spike when you receive a reward. It spikes in anticipation of a possible reward. The uncertainty is the trigger. When the outcome could go either way, when the berry bush might be full or empty, when the rustling could be prey or predator. That is when your brain releases dopamine and pushes you toward action. Your phone is a dopamine machine engineered around that exact mechanism. Every time you check it, you do not know what you will find. Maybe nothing. Maybe a message from someone who matters. Maybe something that makes you laugh, or makes you angry, or makes you feel seen. The unpredictability is not a flaw in the design. It is the design. It is the same mechanism that makes slot machines so difficult to walk away from. Not because winning feels good, but because maybe winning feels irresistible. B.F. Skinner demonstrated this in the 1950s with pigeons and levers. When food came out, every single time a pigeon pressed a lever, the pigeon pressed it steadily. When food never came out, the pigeon stopped pressing quickly. But when food came out unpredictably, sometimes yes, sometimes no, with no pattern, the pigeon pressed obsessively, far more than in any other condition. Skinner called it variable ratio reinforcement. He described it as the most powerful behavioral conditioning schedule ever identified. Your phone works on that exact schedule, but dopamine is only part of the story. Your brain has another ancient system running in the background at all times. It is called the default mode network, and researchers including Marcus Rachel at Washington University discovered it almost by accident. They noticed that when the brain appears to be doing nothing, no task, no stimulus, just resting, a specific network of regions actually becomes more active, not less. The brain does not idle. It switches to a different mode of processing. Part of what the default mode network does is monitor the social environment. It runs through relationships, thinks about other people's mental states, checks whether you are safe, accepted, included. For most of human history, this monitoring happened in a physical world. You could look across the fire and see who was there. You could hear voices, read faces, feel the social temperature of the group in real time. Your phone has relocated that monitoring to a digital space, and the default mode network cannot tell the difference. When you feel a vague, unnameable urge to check your phone, when you are not bored, not expecting anything, just pulled. That is your social monitoring system doing what it has always done. It is scanning for the group. It is checking who is there and whether anything has shifted. The fact that the group now lives inside a rectangle of glass and metal does not reduce the urgency. If anything, it multiplies it, because the group is now accessible at all times and therefore checkable at all times. There is something else your phone exploits that is even older than your social instincts.